Good morning, Stampers. My name is Juanette, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in the United States. Today, I'm going to be showing you a technique in which you take your embossing folder and apply ink to it, then run it through your die cutting machine, and the ink will transfer over to your cardstock, not only giving you a beautiful embossed image, but one that has some ink in the background. So here are two of the cards that I made today using that technique. So I'm going to start out with by using the embossing folder, and it is called Country Floral. It is in the annual catalog right now, and you want to apply the ink to the inside front of your embossing folder. Now here I'm using Daffodil Delight, and I made multiple cards, and the one that I actually show you later on is using Pineapple Punch. So you apply your ink all over the front inside of your embossing folder. So what you want to see is the ink in the background, not necessarily on the floral where those roses and other flowers are. Then I took a piece of 5.5 by 4.25 Whisper White cardstock, closed the embossing folder, and ran it through my die cutting machine. And as you can see, not only did it emboss my image, but it left a beautiful colored background. Now again, I'm showing you here, you take the front of your embossing folder, open it up, and that's where you apply your ink. So then I also took a clear Wink of Stella and applied a little bit of the shimmer all along the colored section of the card. And because I knew I was going to be cutting it out, I did not go to the very end. And so you can see there, as I hold it up to the camera, it's got a really pretty shine to it. Then I took the layering square dies, and they measure about 2 3/4 and 2 3/8 square. I die cut 4 frames using those dies, and then glued them all together to give me a stacked layered frame that I would be able to put around that embossed image. So just apply your liquid glue and layer each one on top of the other. Then I also took the word wishes dies, and in that set is dies that say Happy New Year's Day. And I only wanted it to say Happy New Year. So I die cut that out 3 times using Whisper White cardstock, and again glued them on top of each other to give me a nice stacked look. And what I end up doing is cutting off the S of the word years so that I would just have the words Happy New Year. This gives you some nice strength to your words that you will place on your card, and it also gives you some dimension. Sometimes I also use craft foam to layer behind word dies. And you can see there, I just snip off the little S at the end there. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving and you're getting all of your holiday and Christmas and Hanukkah shopping done. As you can see by this card, I'm already thinking about the new year and what it will bring. So then my card base is 5.5 by 4.25. I took those square dies, or the square frame, I should say, laid it on top of the embossed image so I could know exactly where I wanted to cut and what area of the image I wanted to use. So I just used a pencil and traced it out, then took my scissors and cut that square out. I will be using some of that other embossed cardstock to decorate my envelope. So then I just trimmed a little bit off of each side so that it would glue down nicely over that white frame. And I just used liquid glue to adhere that to the frame. Now you can see I switched over to the Highland Heather cardstock. Like I said, I did multiple cards using this technique. So I took my card base and then there is a layer of Highland Heather, and that measures 5 1/4 by 4. So after I fold and burnish my card base, I add the Whisper White cardstock, which is 5 by 3 3/4 on top of the Highland Heather, which again was 5 1/4 by 4. This will go in the inside of my card base and give me a nice Highland Heather border and a lot of sturdiness to the inside of the card. Then that same color, Highland Heather, which is 5 1/4 by 4, I apply liquid glue to it, adhere it to the front of my card base, now that is actually a white piece of embossed cardstock. I had accidentally embossed the wrong side, So I knew I could use the front of it, and no one would really be the wiser to see that it actually had ink on the back. So I just adhere that to that Highland Heather piece. Then I take that framed piece that is embossed and I position it in about the same place where the white embossed piece is so that it flows. I use tear and tape for that. And I think I really could have used a little bit of extra liquid glue, but I had forgot to do that. So I just adhere that down. And then as I was looking at the card with the words Happy New Year, I felt that just that white color was kind of washed out and didn't really stand out as much as I wanted it to. So I die cut the words again with Highland Heather and glued those to the top of the white words, and then applied those to the front of the card. And I think that really made it stand out and look a lot better. That definitely looks a lot better with the Highland Heather over the words there. Then I took some Wink of Stella and applied it all over the words to give it a little shimmer. Took a 1-inch piece of the embossed cardstock and glued it to the front of the envelope to give it a little bit more pizzazz and to be able to tie the card and the envelope together nicely. Then I took some of our pearls and glued them to the card. Smaller ones on the inside frame and the little bit larger ones on the outside of the frame. And I think that really added a nice touch to this card. And now this card is the one in which I used the pineapple punch. I also used the die cut from a big thank you. I stacked it 4 times and added that to the card. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button so you can receive updates of when I post a new video. Thank you for joining me. Goodbye.